For the problems on this activity, we're going to decide whether this is a multiplication or division problem. We're going to identify the model. We will write a setup equation which uses multiplication and includes the units using a question mark for the unknown value. And then thinking of ourselves as a third grader who is learning division facts, we're going to draw a picture to help solve the problem and then write that answer, including units. If we look at number 1, it says there are 2 tables in the classroom and 4 children are seated at each table. How many children are there altogether? So if it's obvious to you that this is a multiplication problem, then you would go ahead and identify that. If it's not obvious, where I would start is with the setup equation. So I would use my 2 different units. In this case, I can see that my units are children, and then it also mentions tables, right? So I know that the middle number in my setup equation is going to be either tables per child or children per table. And I think children per table makes more sense. So I'm going to put that here. And if you mess up, you just always figure it out and erase. So then based on this, what comes after the word per is going to go here. And what comes before that is going to go here. If you want to write the word total, you can. If you don't have to, you could just say children. So in this case, I know that there are 2 tables. I also know that there are 4 children. That's not the total, that is at each table. So that's 4 children per table. And then what it's asking for is how many children there are altogether. So how would I solve this to find the missing value? I'd multiply 2 times 4. So if it wasn't clear before, then I would go ahead and say it now that this is multiplication. And then we need to identify the model. So if we go back and look at our models of multiplication, we had repeated sums, which we also call groups of objects. We had our lists or counting model. We had area of an array, and then we had multiplicative comparison. And so then this one is the most common, the repeated addition, or typically I'll call that groups of objects, but it's the same thing as the repeated sums or repeated addition. So then we're going to go ahead and, since we've done the first 3, we're going to go ahead and draw a picture and then solve this. So I'm just going to draw my picture on an extra sheet of paper. So if you do that, just include that. So in this case, remember we had our original problem. We had there are 2 tables in the classroom and 4 children are at each table. So we could actually just draw that, right? So imagine we have 2 tables, right? You can make them round, you can make them square, however you want to make them. So I've got 2 tables, and then they said that there were going to be 4 children at each table. So I'm just going to put like little desks, or you could do stick figures or little smiley faces. So I'm just going to put like each chair basically. And so then I could actually find the answer just by counting. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And I find that there are 8 children altogether. You could just say 8 children or 8 total children.